Robert Dunfield's efforts to conduct his big dig certainly pushed a lot of spoils piles in the money pit down the hill.
For more than 200 years, Oak Island has been hiding a secret that has cost fortunes, destroyed dreams, and taken 6 lives. More than $50 million has already been spent trying to uncover what lies beneath this small island. Yet, the mystery remains unsolved. But in 2026, everything changed. This time, the team wasn't relying on theories or lucky guesses. Using advanced seismic scans, resistivity mapping, and deep drilling reaching depths of 90 to 120 feet, they uncovered something that shocked even veteran researchers. Data revealed a hidden zone where metallic density measured 60 to 70% higher than the surrounding soil. Some readings were even 4 to 5 times stronger than normal. Then came the biggest surprise. Underground camera footage appeared to reveal a hollow chamber nearly 20 feet wide and up to 12 feet deep. If this structure is artificial, experts believe its value could reach an astonishing $195 million. And if it is connected to a larger underground network, the treasure hidden below Oak Island could be worth more than $500 million. For Rick Lagina, this may be the breakthrough he has spent a lifetime searching for. For Marty Lagina, the numbers suggest both enormous potential and enormous risk, because at these depths, one mistake could trigger flooding and destroy everything. The most unbelievable part? The location producing these signals had been overlooked for years. Now, it may hold the greatest secret Oak Island has ever hidden. And what happens next could finally answer a question that has remained unsolved for more than 2 centuries. Before we uncover the evidence, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, because this real-life mystery is about to reveal its most shocking discovery yet. Think about this for a moment. For more than 2 centuries, a tiny island has kept explorers, investors, and treasure hunters obsessed with one question. Oak Island has become far more than a piece of land. It is a mystery that has consumed fortunes, inspired generations, and cost 6 people their lives. Over $50 million has already been poured into excavations, investigations, and countless attempts to uncover what may be hidden beneath the ground. Year after year, new teams arrived convinced they would finally solve the puzzle. They uncovered clues, followed leads, and dug deeper than ever before. Yet every discovery led back to the same unanswered question. Is there truly something valuable buried below, or has the world been chasing a legend all this time? Then came 2026. For the first time, the search looked very different. Instead of relying on assumptions and scattered evidence, the team turned to advanced technology. Seismic imaging, resistivity surveys, and precision drilling were used to examine the island in unprecedented detail. What they found stunned everyone involved. The results were unusually consistent. Rather than producing random anomalies, the instruments repeatedly highlighted the same location. Again and again, the data pointed toward a single area beneath the island. To Rick Lagina, this was more than another test. After years of disappointments and dead ends, he saw something he had rarely shown before: genuine confidence. For the first time, he believed Oak Island might finally be running out of places to hide its secrets. Marty Lagina, however, remained cautious. He understood that extraordinary discoveries often come with extraordinary risks. If the data proved accurate, the team could be standing on the edge of the greatest breakthrough in Oak Island history. If it didn't, it could become another expensive setback in a search already filled with them. What made the discovery even more surprising was the location itself. The area producing these signals had been examined before and largely dismissed. Many considered it a dead zone with little potential. Now, that same spot was attracting more attention than any other place on the island. The reason was simple. For the first time, the investigation was being driven by strong scientific evidence rather than speculation. And that evidence was revealing something difficult to ignore. During the 2026 operation, specialists used high-resolution seismic scans and resistivity mapping, technologies designed to detect underground voids, unusual density patterns, and hidden structures. The results immediately raised eyebrows. In one particular section, metallic readings were dramatically higher than those of the surrounding ground. Measurements suggested density levels, roughly 60 to 70%, greater than normal soil. Some results were so unusual that researchers repeated the tests multiple times to ensure there were no errors. The outcome never changed. No matter when the scans were conducted, the same anomaly kept appearing. Something significant seemed to be buried below the surface. When Rick reviewed the findings, his reaction went beyond excitement. After decades of searching, he began to believe that the answer to Oak Island's mystery might finally be within reach. Marty remained focused on the facts. From his perspective, data alone was not enough. Until physical excavation could confirm what the instruments were detecting, the anomaly remained a possibility rather than proof. Yet, deeper analysis of the readings produced an astonishing estimate. Experts suggested that if the metallic concentration was connected to a hidden chamber or a deliberately constructed storage area, its potential value could reach nearly $195 million. Suddenly, the attention of the world was once again fixed on Oak Island. Even more intriguing was the pattern of the signals. They weren't scattered randomly underground. Instead, they appeared organized and concentrated, suggesting the presence of a structured feature rather than isolated fragments of metal. And that brings us to the depth, where some of Oak Island's greatest mysteries have always existed, between 90 and 120 feet below the surface. Previous drilling operations had reached similar depths, but the results were frustratingly inconsistent. Some attempts produced weak metallic traces, others found nothing at all. Over time, many experts began to suspect there was nothing remarkable hidden there. But 2026 told a different story. Using precision drilling systems combined with real-time monitoring technology, the team noticed significant changes as the drill passed below the 90-foot mark. Soil density began to shift, and metallic responses increased dramatically. Several samples showed metal-related readings reaching levels far beyond what would normally be expected. More importantly, these results were not isolated. Similar anomalies appeared across multiple boreholes. To Rick, that consistency was the most important clue of all. This was no longer a matter of chance. A pattern was beginning to emerge. However, the deeper the drilling went, the closer the team came to one of Oak Island's most feared obstacles, the flood tunnel system. As operations approached depths of roughly 100 to 110 feet, water pressure increased sharply in several boreholes. Reports indicated inflow rates reaching hundreds of gallons per minute in certain locations, suggesting proximity to a connected underground water network. Marty quickly warned that if pressure continued to rise, excavation shafts could flood in a matter of minutes. The stakes were becoming enormous. Yet the team continued forward because, for the first time, the evidence was pointing in a clear direction. Strong metallic readings, repeatable results, and a highly specific depth range were all telling the same story. And then came perhaps the most controversial theory yet: a hidden chamber. According to interpretations of the 2026 scans and drilling data, there may be a hollow space underground measuring roughly 20 feet across and 10 to 12 feet high. This would not be a small pocket or natural crack. It would be comparable in size to an entire room concealed beneath the island. When a borehole camera was lowered into the area, only brief footage was captured. The images were far from perfect, but investigators repeatedly noticed what appeared to be straight edges and flat surfaces. That observation immediately divided opinion. Some geologists argue the cavity could be entirely natural. Oak Island's underground geology is extremely complex, with layers of clay, limestone formations, and centuries of water erosion capable of creating unusual voids. Others strongly disagree. Yes, treasure hunters and several engineers believe that a cavity of this size and apparent stability would be difficult to explain naturally, especially when unusually strong metallic readings are concentrated around it. And that is exactly why the debate has become more intense than ever before. Many researchers believe that what lies beneath Oak Island may not be a natural formation at all. Instead, it could be a deliberately constructed underground chamber, carefully hidden from the world. For Rick Lagina, this possibility is incredibly exciting. To him, this isn't simply an empty space underground. It could be the location that finally holds the answer to a mystery that has remained unsolved for more than 200 years. Marty Lagina, however, continues to approach the situation with caution. In his view, no matter how promising the evidence appears, it remains a theory until excavation provides undeniable proof. Yet one thing is becoming increasingly difficult to ignore. If this underground chamber truly exists, It could completely change the history of Oak Island. Then came the moment that surprised everyone. Up until this point, the investigation had been driven mainly by data, scans, and drilling results. But the situation changed when a borehole camera was lowered to a depth of approximately 100 to 110 feet. For the first time, the team had a chance to actually see what might be hidden below. Inside the control room, every eye was fixed on the monitor. At first, nothing seemed unusual. The camera showed familiar scenes: muddy walls, flowing water, and irregular underground surfaces. It looked very much like previous inspections. Then, without warning, something different appeared. For a brief moment, the camera captured what looked like a smooth surface. Seconds later, a straight edge came into view, followed by another. Instead of resembling fractured rock, the shapes appeared unusually flat and structured, almost as if they belonged to part of a man-made construction. Those few seconds immediately changed the mood in the room. Rick stared at the screen and quietly remarked that it didn't appear natural. His reaction reflected both excitement and disbelief. Marty's response was different. He quickly considered alternative explanations. Could unusual lighting be creating an illusion? Could water reflections or camera distortion be affecting what they were seeing? After all, Oak Island has produced many misleading clues over the years. However, when the footage was compared to recordings from previous investigations, a noticeable difference emerged. Similar patterns and straight edges had never been documented before. Naturally, opinions remain divided. Some specialists argue that low visibility and reflections can make ordinary geological features appear structured. Others believe the footage may represent something far more significant. If the surfaces seen on camera are genuine, they could be part of a carefully engineered underground chamber. The footage lasted only seconds and was far from perfect, but it added a fascinating new layer to the mystery. And that mystery is about more than buried treasure. At its core, Oak Island is also the story of two brothers whose approaches could not be more different. For Rick Lagina, the search is deeply personal. Since childhood, he has dreamed of solving this mystery. Over the years, he has invested not only time and effort, but also a tremendous amount of emotional energy into the quest. Every anomaly, every clue, and every new discovery gives him renewed hope. So, when the 2026 readings suggested the possibility of a $195 million find, Rick saw something he had been waiting for his entire life. In his mind, the evidence points towards something real hidden beneath the island. Marty sees things differently. His focus remains on facts, budgets, and risk management. To him, excitement alone cannot justify conclusions. He repeatedly reminds the team that until physical evidence is recovered, everything remains speculative, and there are serious challenges to consider. Excavating beyond 100 feet is extremely difficult. Flood tunnels, unstable ground conditions, equipment failures, and escalating costs all create major obstacles. This difference in perspective has created growing tension within the operation. Rick believes the team should move aggressively because he feels they may be closer than ever before to solving the mystery. Marty prefers a measured approach, insisting that every decision be supported by solid evidence. Their discussions often reflect this contrast. Rick argues that opportunities like this may never come again. Marty counters that one major mistake could jeopardize the entire project. Even among the rest of the team, opinions are divided. Some are energized by Rick's confidence, while others share Marty's cautious mindset. That conflict adds another layer of drama to the search. This is no longer just about digging a hole in the ground. The decisions being made now could either lead to one of the greatest discoveries in treasure hunting history, or result in another costly disappointment. As news of the 2026 findings spread, interest in Oak Island exploded worldwide. Yet alongside the excitement came an important question. Are these discoveries evidence of a genuine breakthrough, or are they simply another misunderstanding waiting to be exposed? Many geologists remain skeptical. They point out that Oak Island's underground environment is incredibly complicated. Layers of clay, limestone formations, and centuries of excavation have created conditions where unusual readings are not uncommon. According to these experts, elevated metallic density is certainly noteworthy, but it does not automatically indicate treasure or artificial structures. Natural mineral deposits can sometimes generate signals that appear far more significant than they actually are. Others strongly disagree. Treasure researchers and independent analysts argue that the evidence should not be viewed individually. They emphasize the combination of three separate clues: the consistent scan results, the camera footage, and the indications of a hollow underground space. Taken together, they believe the evidence points towards something intentionally created, rather than a random geological feature. As expected, the debate quickly spread beyond Oak Island itself. News outlets began covering the story extensively. Some described it as the discovery of a potential $195 million secret hidden beneath the island. Others dismissed the excitement as another chapter in an already overhyped mystery. Online discussions exploded. Across YouTube, Reddit, and treasure hunting communities, millions of people began examining every image, every report, and every piece of data. Some viewers became convinced that a hidden chamber had finally been located. Others argued that the entire thing could be an illusion created by interpretation and expectation. What's fascinating is that both sides make compelling arguments. One side demands hard evidence before drawing conclusions. The other points to a growing collection of clues that seem increasingly difficult to explain away. As a result, Oak Island has evolved into something much larger than an excavation project. It has become a worldwide debate, but just when it seemed the story couldn't become any more intriguing, new data introduced another possibility, a much bigger one. While studying information from depths between 90 and 120 feet, investigators noticed additional anomalies far deeper underground, roughly between 150 and 180 feet. And this is where the mystery begins to expand beyond the idea of a single hidden chamber. Seismic imaging revealed faint yet repeatable disturbances in the deeper layers. Although these signals were weaker than those detected above, they displayed a surprisingly organized pattern. Several anomalies appeared aligned in a way that caught the attention of researchers. Some experts believe these formations may be connected rather than isolated. This observation gave rise to what is now known as the larger system theory. According to this idea, Oak Island may contain more than one hidden chamber. Instead, there could be an entire network of underground spaces connected through passages or tunnels. Supporters of the theory suggest that different sections may have been used to store different items, creating a sophisticated hidden storage system beneath the island. If that interpretation is correct, the estimated $195 million chamber may represent only a fraction of what remains undiscovered. Rick finds this possibility especially compelling. In his view, if evidence suggests the existence of one chamber, it is reasonable to consider that additional structures may exist nearby. Marty remains careful. He understands that exploring deeper levels introduces even greater risks. Increased water pressure, unstable ground conditions, and more complex excavation challenges all become major concerns below 150 feet. Interestingly, historical records offer hints that may support this theory. Several reports from earlier excavations mention unexplained voids, collapses, and unusual underground conditions encountered at greater depths. At the time, those observations received little attention. Today, modern technology appears to be detecting similar anomalies once again. And that raises an even bigger question. Is Oak Island hiding a single treasure chamber? Or is there an entire underground network waiting to be uncovered, one whose value could reach far beyond hundreds of millions of dollars? The possibility of a much larger discovery is exactly what has researchers paying such close attention now. Because if these structures are connected, the story of Oak Island may be far bigger than anyone ever imagined. When researchers combine the deeper anomalies detected between 150 and 180 feet with the signals found higher up, an even more astonishing possibility emerged. Some analysts proposed a bold estimate. If these underground features are actually connected, and if similar concentrations of metal exist throughout the structure, then the total value hidden beneath Oak Island could potentially reach somewhere between $400 million and $500 million. And according to some experts, even that figure may be conservative. This idea has led to what many now call the multiple vault theory. According to this theory, Oak Island may not contain a single treasure chamber at all. Instead, there could be several separate vaults located at different depths, each serving a unique purpose. Some areas may have functioned as storage spaces, others as security barriers, and some perhaps even as intentional traps designed to protect whatever was hidden below. If that theory proves correct, then Oak Island is far more than a simple hiding place. It would represent a carefully planned underground system engineered with remarkable sophistication. Rick Lagina appears increasingly convinced by this possibility. To him, the combination of repeating signals, organized patterns, and anomalies appearing at multiple depths suggests something far beyond a natural geological formation. And somewhere beneath Oak Island, the biggest secret may still be waiting.